Hello, everybody. My name is Kana Plower, and welcome to a book review where it's about to get serious. Imagine this. Let's say you're on YouTube and you stumble upon a video created by a YouTuber called Windigoon, and you decided to click on his hour-long lecture on this book called No Longer Human, written by Osamu Dazai. You didn't watch the whole video, but it intrigued you because, in his opinion, that book is the darkest book he read. So you thought, maybe I should read this book for myself and see how really dark it is. Time goes by and now you're reading it for an English project and you kind of regret it. This scenario was actually what I went through, because that's what exactly happened and led me to this point where I'm now making a video explaining the novel to you and trying to persuade you to read the book or not. Disclaimer: this book mentions topics like misogyny, alienation, depression, abuse, sexual assault, and suicide. Now let's get into the review.
The format of No Longer Human is unique with this setup of a framed story, where an anonymous narrator introduces us to our protagonist, Boba Yozo, but he doesn't do this directly. Instead, he opens up the book with this sentence: "I have seen 3 pictures of the man." And of those 3 pictures, it would be a childhood photo, a photo of him in his high school or college days, and another where it's uncertain what age he is, but he does have some gray hair. You might be thinking, why does this matter? Well, the narrator continues to explain that in these photos there's something sinister and not right about the man, stating that from childhood to adulthood, the man didn't seem to be human, and when looking at the photos, he radiated an off-putting and uncomfortable aura. So, from the narrator's inquiries, we can take his statements about the man and connect them to the title of the story, No Longer Human. But, if we use our little thinking caps, it gives us a foreshadowing of the internal story and its contents of what we'll be reading about on Oba Yozo. I would like to also mention that the internal story is arranged from a first-person point of view, meaning that we're reading the story from Yozo's perspective, and on top of that, the internal story is sectioned off like we're reading Yozo's notebooks, using titles like the first notebook, the second notebook, and the third notebook, part 1 and 2. The writing inside the notebooks gives us, the reader, what is truly going on in the mind of Yozo as he discusses his life during his childhood, teenage years, and adulthood. It also gives us great detail about his thoughts on human beings and the action he does around them. Additionally, with it being focused on Yozo, you'll get to read his unfiltered opinions and the discussions that he has with himself. And it might make you uncomfortable, but I feel as though that's the charm of the book. It allows us to get inside the mind of someone who can be described as broken and out of touch with humanity and its inner workings. There's not any part of the book that I thought was my favorite, and I feel like if I were to really have a favorite part, then I wouldn't be well as a person. I feel like you just couldn't really have a favorite part at all in this story. I made my summary of the book really bland, because if I were to go in detail of the book, this video would be an hour long, just like the YouTube video that I mentioned, and I know you guys don't want to sit through all of that. But it really gets uncomfortable throughout the story because of how nonchalant Yozo sounds through the text, especially with the topics of suicide and sexual assault. But would I recommend this book? Yes and no. It really depends on what type of literature you're interested in. If you're interested in things that are more disturbing, then I would say that you could read this book, but on the exception that I don't think that it is a great read for someone who is suffering through mental illnesses such as depression, or you are experiencing suicidal thoughts. I know that there's a group of people who do like disturbing things, and I am one of them. It's one of my guilty pleasures that not a lot of people around me enjoy. But this book really messed me up, especially the parts that contain suicide. Take it as you will, but there is a quote that I will end off with, and it is this: "Now I have neither happiness nor unhappiness. Everything passes. That is the one and only thing that I have thought resembled the truth in the society of human beings, where I have dwelt up to now. as in a burning hell. Everything passes.